Senator Bernie Sanders.
As I look out, it is nice to see working people flooding the nation's capital rather than the lobbyists and the big money interests. Welcome to Washington, D.C. This is your capital and not just the capital of the billionaire class. Now, what's been going on in this country for 40 years, and you all know this, there has been a war being waged against working families. And one intrinsic part of that war is one disastrous trade agreement after another disastrous trade agreement. Now, it's one thing if somebody woke up and said, you know, let's try this idea. Let's try the idea of unfettered free trade and see what happens. We tried it. It failed. No TPP. Now, they told us NAFTA was going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs. NAFTA cost us jobs. They told us that permanent normal trade relations with China is going to create millions of American jobs. It cost us millions of American jobs. And now, guess what they're telling us? Shock of all shock, they tell us that the TPP is going to create jobs and help the American worker. Well, if you believe that, there's a bridge in Brooklyn that some of you may be interested in buying. These trade agreements have been pushed by corporate America for one very simple reason, and it's a horrible reason. What they want to do is to shut down plants in America, throw American workers out on the street, and then move to China or other low-wage countries where they produce their products, and then they bring those products back into the United States. The result of all of these trade agreements has been twofold. Number one, the trade agreements themselves have cost us millions of decent-paying jobs. Since 2001, this country has lost 60,000 factories. 60,000 factories. And the young people of America don't even know that there was once a time when you could walk into a store and buy a product not made in China. What our job, the second thing that it has done, which is equally perverse, is they have put employers in the driver's seat, and they've said to unions and non-union workers, look, we got an option. Either you're going to take a pay cut or cuts in your health care, or we're going to move to China. And that's part of the race to the bottom. And the result of all of this is that the American middle class is disappearing. We have people working 50, 60 hours a week in order to take care of their families. And at the heart of all of that is this disastrous trade policies which were written in secret by large multinational corporations. The function of these trade agreements is to make significant profits for corporate America and drive wages down in the United States of America. We are now in a pivotal moment in American history. We have more income and wealth inequality than at any time since the 1920s. 99% of all new income generated in America today goes to the top 1%. The top 1/10 of 1% owns as much wealth as the bottom 90%. And what this is about is not just trade. It is about whether this United States Congress begins to work for the middle class and working families of this country, or whether it is totally owned by billionaires and their lobbyists. And what you are here today to say, representing millions of working families, is enough is enough. This Congress has got to work for the American people and not for the big money interests. Our job is not just to beat this TPP, it's to develop an agenda that works for the American people. Instead of corporations investing in China, what about the radical idea of them investing in the United States of America? What about the radical idea of creating millions of jobs by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure? What about the radical idea of raising the minimum wage to a living wage rather than a starvation wage? What about the radical idea of making tuition free in public colleges and universities so our kids can get a decent education? What about the radical idea of asking corporations to start paying their fair share of taxes? All right. Brothers and sisters, we can do this. We can transform America when we stand together. The vast majority of the people are on our side. And what we have got to do is the next time we come to Washington, it's not just a few thousand, it's a few million. And we make an offer to those guys that they can't refuse. That if they don't start creating jobs in America, they're going to lose their jobs. All right, let me thank the steelworkers, one of the great unions in America. Let me thank the trade union movement in this country. Let's continue to fight together to transform our society so that government begins to work for all of us and not just for a handful of billionaires. Thanks for all you're doing.
You can see that we've got lots of friends in the Senate